Welcome back, everybody, to another Pittsburgh Pirates franchise video. I'm very excited for this one, as today we are going to take a closer look at some of the Double-A guys. So last episode, we highlighted Bubba Chandler and Darnell Smith there in Triple-A. We got to see two of their starts, and I felt like it was appropriate now to move down just another rung on the ladder and take a look at Double-A. And some of these guys that we haven't seen before. We've got Alex Diaz here, who we did draft in free agency. He was, or not free agency, I'm so sorry. We drafted him last year in the draft. I said the right word, but the wrong thought. But Alex Diaz was our 6th round pick, a left fielder who started with an overall of 64, and we placed him in Double-A. So I wanted to highlight some of the Double-A guys because some of them are draft picks, some of them are still down here from last year in Double-A, and these prospects I feel like deserve a little bit of a showcase. And so dropping down to Double-A just for this episode I felt like would be pretty cool, at least for a short burst. Now, before we hit the pedal on moving forward in Season 2 in the actual MLB level, I felt like going to Triple and Double-A to check in on these guys was absolutely going to be worth the time, because as the series progresses, the likelihood of these guys making an impact on the MLB level just increases as they get better down at Double-A, as they improve on their skills, and as the draft picks that we have selected slowly make their way up the pipeline. And here is another one, Gilberto Colon. We drafted him in the 4th round of 2025, and he actually is just a 3-pitch mix pitcher. Awkward to word it that way, but he just doesn't have very many tools, and so all of them need to be extra effective. When you only throw 3, they better be 3 good ones. And so Colon gets into early trouble here against Ralphie Velasquez. It stays fair, and that's a 2-run blast here in the bottom of the 1st, and we've only got 1 out. So really, really tough start immediately for Colon, but we need to see how he does. He started this year as a 65 overall, and so I definitely feel like, you know, if you just look at numbers like that, then you say, okay, he's not very far away. But we need to actually get in and get some game time with him and check performance. He only throws 2 fastballs and a 12-6 curve. So it's either fastball or extreme slow, hanging curveball. Unless it's placed well, of course. But that's what we need to check. It's going to be very tough with just 3 pitches. But Colon needs to find a way to work through that, or else this draft pick is just simply not going to work for us. It's also very tough when you control a player that only throws 3 pitches. It feels like there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to hide with that. Like if you don't have the good stuff with your main pitch, you're down to your 2nd and 3rd, but that's all you've got. And it's very, very tough to try to snap a pitcher out of that. As you can see, we've already allowed 4 runs through here in the bottom of the 1st. One of the worst starts that I've seen on a prospect, but Connor Griffin is able to run back into shallow center there and spear that and finally get us out of the 1st inning. So then we'll take a look at Steve Sidelinker. Here's our number 1 draft pick from 2025 who started the year as a 75 overall. And there is definitely a world where Steve Sidelinker could start in the major league level for certain teams, and he will nail that line drive into shallow center, and he'll have a single. That's the first hit there for Sidelinker of the year, so very excited to get that for him. That's awesome. But what I mean is, like, with Sidelinker, with his high overall, he was the highest, and he should be as well because he's our first draft pick. Sidelinker could start at the MLB level because a 75 overall is higher than some MLB players. Some veterans, they'll hang around the low 70s or mid 70s for a lot of their career. It's those guys with C potential. They're not doing much as far as like offensive powerhouses. They're probably not all-stars. They're probably not Cy Young contenders, anything like that, whatever position they play. But you need those guys because you can't afford to have a team of all studs. So there's a lot of teams that end up rounding out, the all-stars or their big marquee guys with see potential players that start or end up around the 70s. And so Sidelinker, I put down in Double-A because with a 75 overall, that is really appealing, and obviously the skill should be there, but I just don't know how he's going to perform. And I'd like to get a few at-bats in there with him. And Colon's going to give up another solo shot. Diaz will just stop and watch that hit the wall back there. And, oh, no, not a solo shot. That's a 2-run blast. I'm all over the place today, you guys. I'm so sorry. The coffee does not seem to be working, and actually, full disclosure, I was out very late last night at a concert. I went and saw a metal show, and it was a ton of fun, but that's not the subject of the video, so we'll continue here. Colon finally gets a pop-up to center field, and we'll end the third, but that's 6 runs across. And now Gilberto Pacheco will step in, second baseman who we drafted in the 2nd round. Lots of draft picks here in this video, and that's another reason I was excited to do a Double-A showcase, as Pacheco will get a 2-out single, and now Sidelinker comes back up. It's 0-0 against him. This is the first pitch. And here it comes. And we crack that for a perfect. And that's going to split the gap into right center field. There we go. Sidelinker now 2 for 2 on the day with a single and a double. We've got 2 men on with 2 outs now for Colt Emerson. It's 0-2 against him. Zach Kent on the mound has been pretty good. And that curveball hangs. It goes to left center field. It's going back, and it is grabbed right in front of the warning track. So we'll strand 2, and we cannot bounce back just yet. Back to Gilberto Colon. And especially with Double-A, I have a lot longer leash for these guys in their performance. And even though he's already given up 6, I mean, this game feels like it's lost already, of course. But I do feel like getting more play time with him and kind of seeing, can he work through? Can he bounce back? Can he build that confidence back up and start placing his pitches? You know, how much can we rely on Colon? When he cracks, does he shatter? Or can he find a way to congeal? That might have been the weirdest analogy, but I hope you understand what I mean. That's just right off the cuff there. I'm not sure where that came from. But some guys under the pressure never come back from it. They just fold, and then that's it. That's the end of their game, and you have to take them out in the 2nd or 3rd inning or whatever. But I was determined to get a closer look at him and see what he did under pressure. And here's Billy Cook, 2 for 2, or 2 and 2 is a count, and he'll lift that into center field, and no advance on the runner there. So top of the 5th, we're still waiting to try to strike back against Zach Kent, and now we've got Jace Bowen at the plate. He's our number 8 hitter, and it's 1-1 against him. And he gets, no. Okay. Line drive to the second baseman. Good contact there. Good timing. And now Trace Gonzalez is up, our 9 spot. And he'll chop that inside as well to the second baseman. And we'll strand another base runner. All right, Ralphie Velasquez back up to the plate now. He's already homered off Colon. We're the bottom of the 5th with 1 out. And he'll do it again. These guys just have no mercy for Colon. And that's 7 runs scored on him through 4 and a 3rd. Also, that looks like a Hot Ones jersey. Wouldn't that be something? Sponsored jersey like that, I guess. That's the same color scheme, though, and it looks like if you wrote Hot Ones on the front of that jersey that it would absolutely be fitting there, so that's pretty funny. We're going to bring in J.R. Ritchie. I think we've seen enough now from Colon after 4 and a 3rd disastrous innings, and he will strike out Robbie Cope. The slider trailing away will get him for out number 2. It's now 2-2 against Justin Boyd. And Ritchie delivers. Another slider away, and we get him to end the 5th. And that's more like it. Turn the lineup over again here in the 6th for Alex Diaz, still searching for his first hit. And he's found it. He lifts that to right center field, and it's a line drive. It's not the strongest of hits with a 93 exit velocity, but it goes exactly where it needs to get him a lead-off double. And now Connor Griffin's back to the plate. 2-1 against him. Kent delivering. And that's hit hard, but directly to the second baseman. Advances the runner, though, so it's at least productive. And now Gilberto Pacheco comes back in. 1 for 2 on the day, and it's 0-2 against him. Hanging curveball, but we don't get it. Wow, that was really one to crush right there, and we let him get away with that one. The timing says very early, but I don't know. It didn't feel that early. We'll come back with Sidelinker now. 2 outs. And that goes to left center field, and it will split the gap, and Sidelinker will have another double if he can leg it. And he does. That's an RBI double. Sidelinker goes 3 for 3 with 2 extra base hits so far today. That is really, really awesome to see from our number 1 draft pick. That's a guy that you have to have work out for you. If the number 1 draft pick ends up just kind of being a dud, I mean, what an incredible waste of potential talent that could be. We'll leave J.R. Ritchie in here in the bottom of the 6th with 2 on and 1 out. And we get a grounder. Sidelinker will tap the bag on third, and he'll throw to first for a double play. That is awesome. It almost looked like he just walked over it, but let's see. The replay will zoom in. Okay, Sidelinker grabs it. He maybe just grazed the toes over the top of that bag. That's hilarious. All right, 7-1 in the top of the 7th. Carter Binns at the plate. And he will bloop that center field. Yep, it does drop in. That's good timing. 82 exit velocity means it's just slow enough to drop in there, and the center fielder can't get to it. And we make the hot ones tap into Mikolajek. Okay, yeah, there it is. Fastball, slider, curve, change. Okay, Billy Cook back at the plate. We've got a man on first. It's 2-2 against him. And that's a swing and a miss on the changeup. All right, not productive from Billy Cook. Once more. And now Jace Bone comes back. It's 0-2 against him. And then we froze. That's a slider. Looked like it was going further down in the zone, and it didn't. So they fooled him, and they fooled us. Trace Gonzalez now. 0 for 2 today, still looking for his first hit. And he hits that well. It goes to center field. It's going back, and it stopped before the track. So many of these have just kind of petered out there before they hit the wall. All right, we're back with Alex Diaz, 1 for 3. So he did have his first hit, and that goes to right center field, and he will have another. That's a great spot for us today, as he's going to split the gap and have a leadoff double himself. Very cool. So Alex Diaz working out there, a late round pick. We're going to try to steal third, and they're going to let us do it. That's defensive indifference right there with a 6-run lead, and it doesn't even give us the stolen base. All right, let's bring in Frank De La Rosa. Another 3-pitch mix, fastball, slider, fastball. I feel like the slider is just a little more helpful than a 12-6 if you're going to have only 3 pitches. I'd rather see something like a fastball, slider, changeup, or fastball, slider, curve, something like that. Like 2 fastballs and an off speed. I don't know. I mean, the fastballs are really not that incredibly different. I know they do different things, but a fastball, as a baseline is still a fastball. And Bowen will bring that in for the end of the 8th. And we enter the final chance for us to do something, and it's Sidelinker. 3 for 3 today. It's 2-2 against him right now. And that is a perfect line drive into center field, and Sidelinker will go 4 for 4 in his Double-A debut. As we highlight these draft picks, that is extraordinarily pleasing to see, as some of them did not live up to the moment today, but Sidelinker absolutely did. Alex Diaz was also very helpful. All right, so we move back into the MLB level. Ryder Ryan has a shoulder pull, 1 to 2 weeks. We'll go ahead and just put him on the 15-day. And let's see what happens here in the series versus Baltimore. We've picked up the first 2 games, 3-1 and 4-2. That's really nice. Check the box score here. 3 for 5 day for Brian Reynolds. 3 for 5 for Triolo as well, who picks up 2 RBIs. O'Neal Cruz had a home run today, and Evan Carter had 2 doubles. That's awesome. Jared Jones had a great game. He gets the win off of 6 2/3 with 2 earned runs, and relief was immaculate behind him. Holderman gets save number 3. That's really cool. And I want to take a quick look at some draft prospects. Quinn Gabriel in right field looks to be contact first, but have a lot of really good defensive attributes as well. And Pedro Crespo, really, really good all around, as he could potentially be a first-round pick for us. Let's see. David Wong and Sergio Campos both have their things going for them, but I think Sergio could win out. Yeah, he's got great pitches there. 5 pitches to choose from. David Wong, not quite as good. So let's go ahead and put Sergio on the board, and we'll take a look at how these guys shake out a little bit later. From last year, I made the decision to not show much scouting just because it takes so much time, and we don't end up seeing a lot of those guys. But I think that the first round pick, we can safely say it's worth taking a look at, especially because we pick, very near the top. So it's not really far-fetched to say that one of those guys, obviously, like, we're going to pick. We pick at 7, so there's only so many that we can look at that don't end up going into the system there at the top. And we'll step into a critical situation here as we try to sweep the Orioles at 7-5. And we get O'Neill to swing around that. Holderman looking good, but there's runners on the corners. He does not go after the sweeper. It's 1-2 against Tyler O'Neill. Holderman hurling. Got it to center field. Cruz with his speed will get there, and we can complete the sweep of the Baltimore Orioles. That is awesome. That's an excellent stretch right there. And Spencer Horwitz went 2 for 5. O'Neill Cruz 4 for 5 today with 4 RBIs. He hit 2 home runs. Spencer Horwitz also went yard. Jared Triolo had a triple as well. Tons of doubles. Zach Littell gets his first win of the year off of 2 earned runs in 7 innings. Caleb Ferguson let through 2, which is a little tough, but as we saw, Holderman got save number 4. And that's an awesome win against Baltimore. We end up dropping, 12-0. And that really hurts there. Josh Palacios going 2 for 3 was really the only notable thing there. He had a double. Stolen base by Reynolds. And then, Mitch Keller and Carson Fulmer, Peter Sturzelecki, everybody got bombed, and their ERAs are going to need to recover from that. Can we bounce back in game 2? Sure can. It's 9-0 as we shut out Milwaukee in turn, and we answer back. Everybody on the team got a hit today. O'Neill Cruz with a triple, Evan Carter and Jared Triolo with doubles. And 2 RBIs for Cruz and Reynolds. 2 stolen bases for Cruz as well. Skeens, immaculate through 7 innings, and Garrett Clevenger, 2 clean innings of relief behind him. Now time to determine the series winner. And it's a critical situation, so let's go ahead and step in against division rivals, the Brewers. It's the top of the 10th, and Nick Gonzalez is averaging 111. And wow, look at that screen back there. Holy crap, Milwaukee. Y'all don't need glasses to see that. That is a gigantic screen. Gonzalez is going to miss on that slider, and with his average being so low, that's really concerning because I do have Gonzalez right now. He's in the bench, so we use him in a utility role, sometimes DHing, sometimes at a spot. He plays third base, shortstop. He's useful for us, I feel like, as a tool player, but if he's only hitting 111, then that tool might just be broken. And there might be something that we need to do about Nick Gonzalez, but I don't know yet what we're going to do with him. The Braves acquire Jesus Luzardo. That's a big acquisition for them. We end up losing 2-0 against the New York Mets there. Jared Jones took the loss, and now Zach Littell is scheduled for Game 2. And we win that one 1-0. There we go. Colin Holderman actually registered the win there. That's his first of the year, so let's see what happened. Really not much going on. We had 6 hits, 3 walks, and 6 strikeouts. Only 3 batters had hits, and they each went 2 for 4. Okay, Joey Bart had 2 doubles. That's cool for him. Yeah, pitching was really, really good. Littell, Bednar, and Holderman. And Holderman got that win, as I said. So looking at the progress here, Quinn Gabriel, his draft rank ran only down to 3, so he's pretty much solid, but the other 2 dropped a decent amount each. So let's take another look at a different guy here. Fred Poirier, starting pitcher with potentially 99. His overall is supposed to be 55 to 89, so he looks really good. I absolutely want to take a closer look at him. So we'll choose him. And David Wong, I did put on the board here because when you've got such little progress, there's no telling where those numbers go. So I know he didn't look quite as good in that first week when we passed him over for the scouting assignment, but he could shake out. So there's a chance there. We'll end up shutting out the Mets again, this time 5-0, and we take the series from them. And now another critical situation, this time with the Rangers. I think I'll let Holderman do this one himself. We're in the top of the 9th, and we do end up shutting out the Rangers. That's 3 games in a row with no runs scored against us. That's awesome. And a 1-0 game is extremely competitive. Actually, I think probably the most competitive you could possibly be. We used 4 pitchers, and then ultimately Dennis Santana picks up the win, and he just needed to get 1 out to do it. Holderman got into trouble, so that makes a little bit of sense. Shane Baz is supposed to get the start in Game 2 as we've got a 3-win streak going once more, and that will shatter on a... What is with the shutouts? It's all or nothing here as we have been playing this past week of baseball. And Gilberto Colon, who we just saw in the AA highlight, has injured his ribs during today's game. So a day or 2 out, he'll get some rest. And we do end up losing this series versus the Texas Rangers. And we are now 11-7. All right, series against Miami. It's a 4-game stretch. They are 5-13. This is absolutely a series we should win. Let's step in. We got the bases loaded for Joey Bart, who's averaging 386 right now with a 918 OPS. This is the year of Joey Bart, apparently. He did really good for us for a really good stretch last year, and he was consistent. And he'll bring that into right field. Bart's going to have a 2 RBI single, and he's going to crack this game wide open here in the top of the 8th. That is awesome. A 2-run lead now. It's 0-2 against Jack Sawinski. Runners on first and second against Tyler Rogers. And oh boy, I hate that delivery. That goes just foul. You need to time that just a little bit better to get that straight down the line. Tyler Rogers, man, that underarm or sidearm throw, submarine delivery, that's better. Sawinski places it perfectly there, and that's going to bring another run in. He's going to go for 2. He bobbles it out in left field, so we'll send the other runner home, and we pick up another 2 RBI hit. Nice job, Sawinski. All right, Gonzalez back up at the plate. He's 0 for 3 now. So that average is down to 0.75. And it'll get just a little bit worse here, as he'll just loop it over to first base, and that's another out. All right, we're going to go ahead and just return to simulating here as we've dominated in that situation, and the Pirates do pick up the victory against Miami in Game 1. All right, 6-3 is the win, and then Mitch Keller scheduled for the second game, and we are right now 12-7, leading the division. It's us, Brewers, Cubs, Cardinals, and then the Reds are way behind right now. So that's pretty cool. Like that we're at the top of the ladder. And in Game 2, we've got another critical situation. I think I'm going to go ahead and let this one play out. It's 4-3 right now with us on the lead. Bednar trying to hold it. And the Pirates do defeat the Marlins 6-4. So that's 2 games in a row now, and I would really like to just sweep them. A 4-game sweep would do wonders for our record. And the Marlins, I don't think, are a very competitive team at this point in the simulation. We do end up winning Game 3. It's a 6-1 victory, and that's 3 in a row. That's enough to seal the series. Of course, we're not going to split today versus Miami, but wow, 6 runs in all 3 games that we've played against them so far. And Quinn Gabriel still slotted as the number 3 Pittsburgh draft pick. So that is really cool. His potential is 80 to 92, which is not quite as high as I would like. We'll take a look at David Valenzuela, who looks just about perfect everywhere. Center fielder. Draft rank on the MLB board is actually 8 for us. He's number 7. This should be everybody's number 1, though. I mean, this is incredible. So we'll leave Wong and Poirier on there, and we'll add Valenzuela, as Wong, with a little bit of scouting progress, has remained exactly where he should, and then Poirier only dropped just a tiny, tiny bit. So some quality draft picks there to look at. And we're going to end this episode here at 14-7, still at the top of the ladder. It's us and the Brewers, and it's not that close after that. We're 6-4 in our last 10. Can't wait to move forward and advance. See you guys later.